Support Gaming said, "What's good, Lincoln?"
Support Gaming, what's good? And I forgot to put on my damn shoes of all things. Hold on, folks.
VR said, "Well, at least you remembered your pets." Okay, I think we got it all set now. And it looks like we're in sync. Last stream, the audio went out of sync for whatever reason. Oh, excuse me. So, before I jump into something, whoops. So I was watching the stream, and it was the funniest but the coolest thing I had seen. A guy was streaming GT7 on PSVR, and he was wearing what appeared to be a racing Support
suit.
Gaming said, "Hi VR."
Yeah,
VR said, "Yo at Support Gaming."
all right. So yeah, the guy was wearing what appeared to be a racing suit. Next to him on the table was a helmet with the Monster Energy drink logo on it. So I thought that was cool. But the extremely funny part was that he was sitting in what I think was a Play Seat Challenge rig. You know, the fold-away rig. His wheelbase, I'm thinking, might have been a Thrustmaster T300 or TGT or something, and he had a shifter, and I was like, I thought it was pretty cool. A little extreme, but I thought it was pretty cool. But this GT Omega rig that I'm sitting in right here, you see the silver slots right there. I've seen people put harness straps through those. Even though they're sitting at a rig and they're in no danger of falling out of the seat, I've seen people still take it to that level and use harness straps. And yeah, I mean,
That I thought was cool, but they were doing it flat screen, and I don't even think they were using a triple screen.
Said, ultimate immersion, racing suit, and helmet.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's definitely extreme. And now my eyes itching. Racing mediums.
Ham VR said, just need an open can of gas for the smell.
Right. One second, folks. Okay, somewhat getting to the title of this stream. A few days ago, I ran a battery of tests with PSVR2 and a couple of my PCs using other headsets, most notably the Quest 2 and the Rift S. I saw no point in putting PSVR2 against my main PC, Voltron, with the HP Reverb G2, because everything that I've seen looks better on that headset, so there's no point in even putting a PSVR2 up against it. But I did want to put it up against the Rift S. And
Support Gaming said, LOL, I'm about to order a racing balaclava right now.
There you go. So when people ask me, what would you recommend in terms of headsets, I want to make sure that my answer is clear in terms of whether to tell them, you know, go PC or go PSVR2. And when I conducted my first test, it was on Pavlov, and I wanted to do an apples to apple comparison. Actually, it's not early for me, because I have to be at work at 6 a.m. during the week. So on the weekends when I'm not working, you know, my body clock makes me get up at around 6, 7 a.m. anyway. So I've been up for a while. When it comes to like Sundays, I kind of play it by ear. Sometimes I might be watching a Formula One race. Sometimes I'm just, you know, watching YouTube. So I guess what I'm trying to say is,
Craig the Tech Guy said, is this Mass Effect?
Is this Mass Effect? Hey, no, but that did give me an idea, Greg. Maybe I'll find a way to try to decorate one of my cars in a Mass Effect. Maybe I'll see if I come up with a Mass Effect livery.
great show, by the way, yesterday, Craig. Thank you. Also want to remind everybody that I will be a guest on JTech's PlayStation Nation today at about 2 p.m. Eastern Time.
FVR said, if I had a pound for every time you asked him at Craig the Tech Guy, I would have many pounds. Craig the Tech Guy said, at FVR indeed, LOL.
So Ham, the thing with Craig and I going back and forth with this Mass Effect thing is he absolutely loves Mass Effect the way I love ACC. So somehow it just started out as a joke, and every time I would go into his live streams, no matter what he's doing, I would always ask him if this is Mass Effect. And so when he comes into my stream, he asks the same question. So it's kind of been a running joke between the three of us. I mean, the two of us for a couple of years, maybe 3 or 4 years now. So I'm absolutely waiting to see what would happen if we could get, at least on PSVR2, if we could get Mass Effect in VR. What would be Craig's reaction? So after this race, I'll take a few minutes and get back to why I feel that the PSVR2 is the second best headset that I have for some reason. And I'm hoping the audio's not out of sync, because it fell out of sync on Friday when I was streaming with him, and it actually fell out of sync today before I went live, and I had to close OBS and reopen it to get everything back on sync. Oh, god damn! Bumper cars again! Absolutely.
The back markers will run you off the rate.
Yeah, because it's bumper cars. You hit it right on the head, Ham. This is one game where qualifying is super, super important. Yeah, that just got touched. Now this game, I do not try to bump anybody, but I no longer apologize for it if it happens, because they're doing it to me.
like watching bumper cars at the fairground.
That's the only bad thing about at the moment. That's really the only bad thing about this game is that the nature of this game, in my opinion, is the one thing that's stopping it from being the best game out there. It's the most popular game out there. There's no, in terms of sim racing, it's the most popular game out there. But I don't think it's the best because of the nature of this game. Because people race with the intentions of knocking you out of the way instead of trying to be actually competitive and trying to be the best racer out there. And the penalty system in this game does not discourage people from dirty play.
Racing rookie level is horrendous.
But at least with ACC, in some instances, depending on the angle that you take, if you bump somebody, you can spin out too. So with ACC, if you walk in with the intentions of hitting somebody, you better make sure you can do it at an angle where you won't spin out either. And if you do it during the LFM race, you're going to be reported. So there is a deterrent in place, unlike this game. I just understand that this is the way I would consider noobs to race. And you also have to keep in mind that since Polyphony Digital and Sony broke their necks to make this game appealing to casuals, a lot of people are also coming in here with controllers and sometimes you can see who's got the controllers because you can see them the car's flickering all over the place and not really, when they go through a corner, they're not doing it smoothly. The car is like kind of flickering through the corners. And when you factor all that in, it's hard for me to take the game serious. Not only that, the physics, along with the way they structure this game in such a way that people can pick up this game, they can pick up a controller and be competitive in this game. You know, so you got people coming in here. I've kind of seen it a couple of times where people get an overblown ego because they picked up a controller and they finished in 4th place or something. Imagine if I had a wheel. No, the same, maybe worse shit will happen to you because using a wheel is a learning curve. You know, but I can't respect somebody walking in with a controller, playing bumper cars, knocking cars all over the place,
Jason
finishing
L.
4th, and then beating their chest about it.
Yet I noticed that in GT7 people seem to get away with a lot.
Yeah, it's and this, like I said, because of that, I can't really take the game serious. A game like Automobilista 2, the physics of that game, along with the penalty system, I think theirs might be a little better, but the online part of it isn't really good. I mean, I don't really see any online like daily races or anything like that. If they were to put, if LFM, Low Field Motorsports, were to include Automobilista 2, I would do a lot of racing over there, because I do, when it comes to Automobilista 2, I like the GTE class. But they did, Low Field Motorsports gave me a direct answer. I asked them if they had any plans to bring LFM to Automobilista 2, and they said that the online play would make it impossible. So that's a little unfortunate. I don't think LFM would work over here either, because their stewards would be working overtime, having to review tape of somebody getting knocked off the track and sent into the wall. But yeah, if they had a LFM review type system here, I would absolutely love it. Because people who, if they had LFM on GT7, people who would join those races would already walk in knowing that if you knock somebody into the wall, be prepared to get reported. And they hit you hard. With Low Field Motorsports, if you get reported and they find that you are in the wrong, they will punish you severely with the ELO. And I mean, I've gotten reported 3 times on on Low Field Motorsports, and I still haven't recovered from that blow yet. And we're talking like almost a year ago that I got reported. I lost a total of 200 ELO, and I still haven't gotten that ELO back yet. Then you have situations where if you don't finish a race, you could lose as much as like 90 ELO for not finishing a race. You can lose ELO for not even finishing in the top half of the split. So yeah, I'm getting off the tracks here, but they definitely, with GT7, they definitely need to do come up excuse me, come up with a better penalty system. So let's get back to the title of this stream. PSVR2 is my second best headset for sim racing. I already explained to you guys that the G2 on my main computer with a 4090, it's no contest. You can, you know, you can put on a PSVR2 and then put on my G2, which I think is, where is it at? Right here. My Reverb G2 has a native resolution of 2160p. But in any case, it's not even close. You put on the G2 and you instantly see that it looks better. So I'm not even going to waste my time comparing the G2 to PSVR2 on my main computer, because it's not even close. but I wanted to go with comparisons that I thought were a little more level in terms of the playing field. So I put my PSVR 2 against the Quest 2 and the Rift S. And I have to say, long story short, the PSVR 2 did look better. And I went back. It's an apple to oranges comparison. So I was looking at ACC, and it looked bad through the Quest 2 and through the Rift S. On my main computer, it looks absolutely gorgeous because I have a powerful enough PC to make it look good. It's super sampled to 3100p. The picture is razor sharp, no aliasing, and it's just gorgeous. I mean, I feel like it's almost one-to-one with the flat screen version. Whereas if you look at ACC through the Quest 2 and through the Rift S, especially if you don't have a PC powerful like the 4090, it did not look good. Now on PC, I feel that Automobilista 2 is the second best looking sim racing game on PC, and you could make the argument, hey, thanks for the subscription. Thank you very much. I'm just waiting for speech chat to tell me who subbed.
Gory_glory0209. Thanks for following.
Thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate it. So yeah, on the Quest 2, on the Rift S, ACC did not look good, and I even had the settings turned all the way up to VR Epic settings. It didn't look good. It didn't look as good as PSVR 2, the GT7. So I go over to Automobilista 2. As I was saying, Automobilista 2 is unquestionably, if that's the word I can use, is undoubtedly the best looking sim on PC and VR. You could probably make the argument, as far as games that I've seen in VR, you could make the argument that Project Cars 2 might be the second best sim that I've seen in VR on PC. Thank you for the sub. Just waiting to see what speech chat says. I'm sure they'll say it any second now. Or will it? Doesn't want to say anything, but I do appreciate the sub. Might have to lift the headset to double check. Oh, TV turned off for starters.
Teedmaker85. Thanks for following.
Thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate it. So to try to hurry up and get through this, Automobilista 2 was the last thing that I had to test, and I took a look at Automobilista 2 on my Quest 2. I didn't bother looking at Automobilista 2 on the Rift S because I knew it wouldn't look as good, because the Rift S has a resolution of 1400p, whereas the Quest 2 has a native resolution of 1948p, or yeah, I believe it's 1948p, and you can super sample the resolution through the Oculus app all the way up to 2736, and so to try to keep the resolution within the ballpark of the PSVR 2, I set the resolution at 2128p on the Quest 2, whereas the native resolution on the PSVR 2 is 2048p. So Automobilista 2 versus GT7, what I saw on the Quest 2 versus PSVR 2, I think they were about the same. The big difference was the fine detail was flickering where it looked like aliasing. You know, you look at a gate or a fence that's on your right or your left, Up close is fine, but when you look at it in the distance, that really fine detail was flickering. The shadows were flickering on the ground, and so it looked like a decent amount of aliasing, and that somewhat broke the immersion for me. So I come back to GT7, and in terms of the clarity, it looked about the same as Automobilista 2, but it didn't have any aliasing. And I think when it comes to games in VR, aliasing is a distraction to me. You know, no matter how good the graphics are, when you see like the outer edges of someone's arm with that white glittery edge, you know, that's the aliasing. It's to me it can be immersion breaking. It's hard to ignore, especially if you see the whole world look like that, because you'll see it really bad if you're playing a game where you like where there's a lot of trees, and then the higher up the tree you look, where you see thinner branches and leaves and stuff like that, that detail is so fine that it flickers and, you know, produces aliasing, and it's just immersion breaking. It's definitely distracting. So that being said, there's pretty much no aliasing on PSVR2 on GT7. I'd say the biggest thing that's a distraction for me on GT7 is the reprojection, and it's really nothing you can do about that, in my opinion, because, you know, this game is running at 120 hertz, and that's basically, you know, 60 times 2 rather than a native 120 hertz because of artificial frames being inserted. So you're going to get that reprojection, double image, ghost trail, whatever you want to call it. I've come to find out through my years of sim racing in VR that when you're going down a straightaway, your frame rate can be as low as 40 frames per second, and it'll still look good until you get to a corner and you have to turn. That's where the hardware shows its weakness or its strength, depending on how you want to look at it. And I've come to find out that 90 frames per second is the minimum, and it has to be a native 90 frames, not reprojected. So if you go around a corner at 90 frames per second, your headset has to be able to maintain that 90 frames per second in order for it to look smooth when you go around the corner. If it drops below 90 frames per second, you will see it. Even if it drops down to 80 frames per second, you will see it. It will start to look a little bit skittish, and then once you come out of that corner and you get back into the straights, everything looks sharp and it looks smooth. So in the case of my G2, I had to play, you know, I've got ACC running at 3100p at VR Epic settings using the OpenXR app that has features like turbo and shit like that. And I had to tweak the VR Epic settings a little bit, like maybe I had to turn down the shadow distance a little bit and that kind of stuff. But I have it running at 3100p VR Epic settings and at 90 frames per second, and it is gorgeous, and it looks and is smooth. When I go around corners, it looks so incredibly smooth. I've got about I don't know, I think I got maybe 16 cars rendered, because the more cars you render, the more it taxes the hardware, and I don't really see a situation where I need to see more than 16 cars at once. So all that being said, yeah, my main computer, it's not even close, but PSVR 2, I think this game, other than the reprojection, looks pretty damn good. I think the game is probably taking some heat. It has taken some heat. Depending on which end of the spectrum you're at, that will determine whether it's warranted or not. Being that I've been doing VR since 2016. I've been doing VR sim racing now, I think probably about 5-6 years. I think I've been doing VR sim racing since late 2016, early 2017. So I understand the ghosting, the reprojecting, and all that stuff. I understand how taxing a racing game is in VR on the hardware. So I'm a little more forgiving of that. But in the case of GT7 on PSVR 2, I think the fact of the matter is this game I don't think this game could run at 90 frames native. If it did, you wouldn't have the ghosting, and going around corners would be smooth. But I just think it would tax the hardware. I simply think the PS5 would not be able to handle running this game at a native 90 frames per second. And based on what I've been hearing from some of my constituents, I think one game, Light Brigade, I think that game started out at 120 frames per second, and people were complaining about the ghosting, the reprojection, and stuff like that. So they sent an update out and changed it to 90 hertz native, and now they say the picture is like ultra sharp, and they can't believe how clear it looks and how well it runs, that kind of stuff. So I'm really curious. So I think when it comes to that, moving forward, when you go to buy a game for PSVR2, you might want to do some research and find out if this game is running at 90 frames native or if it's running at 120 frames reprojected. If it's running at 120 frames reprojected, expect to see some ghosting. So this game right here, it obviously can do 60 frames native, but as I said before, it will not look good when you go around corners. It'll be good on the straights, but when you get to the corners and you turn, that 60 frames is going to rear its ugly head. You're going to see a very choppy looking picture. There wouldn't be any reprojection, but it would be choppy as fuck. So all that considered, I would say as far as sim racing goes, my G2 on the 4090 is my best headset, best PC. PSVR2 is second as far as sim racing goes. My Quest 2 would probably be third, and my Rift S would be last. Now, I gave my thoughts a while back on Pavlov, PC versus PSVR2, and once again, my G2 had the sharpest picture. I had a really hard time trying to distinguish which one looked best between PSVR2 and Quest 2. They looked about the same. I think that the Quest 2 might have been slightly sharper, but I think I might have seen slightly more aliasing on the Quest 2 and slightly more jaggies. And that's what prompts me to say that PSVR 2 is well worth its money, because people that's complaining about the price of the headset, the extra cost of having to have the console, they really don't know about the VR landscape. You go over there and you buy a PC, especially when it comes to sim racing, you're going to find out that if you want an experience that looks better than GT7 on PSVR 2, you will pay for it. You will have to buy a PC, in my opinion, that's anywhere from $2,000 to $2,500. The headset, you can get around that, because the G2 has been out for a while, and it looks like HP is about to get out of the VR business. And you can find HP Reverb G2 cheap on eBay. I got mine off of eBay for $200, and I think when this headset launched, it launched at $700. So, oh shit. And the window decided to pop up. Well, let's see if we can get into another race. I wonder what tomorrow's daily race is going to be. This track right here at Lago Major, if that's how you pronounce it, I'm really not that good at it. I don't have a terrible amount of experience with this track. Alright, we're entered. Also like to remind everybody
Oh, look at this. Out of all my friends, Ham has the fastest lap time of 1:19.5. And it's ironic that I was about to mention Ham. Join us on Fridays, roughly at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, where my good friend Ham hosts GT7 open lobby sessions with viewers. You can join us. Just tune in to my channel or Ham's on Friday around 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And I think at either 8 or 9 p.m. GMT time, depending on whenever they do their time jump, when they move the clocks up an hour. Because I think they might be doing that at the end of the month.
Said, oh baby. 119.
Yeah, good job. I'm a whole 4 seconds behind you. So again, make sure you join us on Fridays. It's open to viewers. You can jump in and race with us. We actually had a pretty good turnout this past Friday. But I do want to caution that if you join us and you come in racing dirty and deliberately pinballing people all over the place, you will be removed. So we're all about good, clean racing. Yeah, go hard. Little bit of paint swapping, yeah, that's one thing. But to deliberately come into a corner with the intentions of knocking somebody out of the way just so you can avoid hitting the wall, yeah, that kind of stuff will get you ejected. How much time we got? All right, we've got 7 minutes. The old faucet's starting to leak, so I gotta go wipe my schnozola. I'll be right back.
VR said, they got the sound pretty good in GT7. CoreyGlory0209 said, I was just watching your review on 4090 with different sim racing titles, smiley face, one speed. Said, sup link, I tried to jump in Friday but couldn't find the link. As well.
Okay, thank you for the follow on Twitch. I was about to remind everybody.
Support Gaming said, next week daily race R, B, Spa GT2, C, Deep Forest Reverse GT3.
Now the Spa race for GT2, that's probably the race that you guys will see me do, because I do like the GT2 cars on here. They don't do enough of that on the daily races as far as I'm concerned. And also, as I was going to say, you know, thanks for the follow on Twitch. Links to my other channels are in the description. Join my Discord. You know, there's not that many members right now. I just opened it up to the public a couple of weeks ago, so it's pretty slow right there right now. There's a few members in there.
At one speed, make sure you PSN friend Lincoln or myself to filter the lobby list by friends.
Yeah, absolutely, one speed. I forgot to mention that. Either that, you can go one of two ways about it. You can send either me or Ham a friend request and find us that way when we go live and jump in with us that way.
VR said, oh yeah, get me some Spa.
With GT2 cars, you're talking about a superior machine, so I will definitely be doing those races. So you can look for the first stream tomorrow, because normally I try to keep a schedule. I try to stream GT7 on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, and stream ACC on Twitch every Tuesday and Thursday. So as far as my Discord goes, you know, links to the Discord is in the description. You can join the Discord. Like I said, right now there's a few members in there. It's pretty slow because I just opened it up to the public not too long ago. And if you want to start a subject, nobody has to wait for me to start a topic. You know, if you want to talk about something, just go ahead and start a topic. And if there's other channel topics that you want me to add, you know, let me know, and I'll add them if it's game related. How much time do we have? Minute 34. There's no point in me even starting a lap, because the race is about to start here pretty soon. And get my gloves on for this one.
One speed said, thanks gents, I look forward to clean patient racing, the only way to learn.
Absolutely. Alright, so it looks like we're still in sync as far as the sound goes. You know, I've talked about this before. This game is so detailed that Polyphony Digital, the PS5 is a powerful.
Snake Doctor 313 said, who saw the ending to the race at Sebring?
I did not. You know, the PS5 is a powerful console, but it does have its ceiling. And so because of that, I saw where Polyphony Digital had to take shortcuts in order to get this thing to run on PSVR2. They had to take a lot of shortcuts. The 120 frames per second. You know, the reprojection, that was, you know, people think that was something that they did to try to boast the power of the PS5. No, it's something that they had to do. Because as I was saying before, when you go around corners, if they would have done this at a native 60 frames per second, it would not have looked good. The wet races, I've seen where the spray from the tires, it looks like a pixelated cloud. I've seen that, whereas ACC on my main computer, the mist looks like an actual mist. I mean, wet races on ACC are scary because you can't hardly see shit with all those cars spraying up a mist. Oh, I'm dead last for this.
Once P said, Caddy vs BMW Caddy for the win.
Without.
Outside windshield. Depth was overhyped. Snake Doctor 3 repeat. Said. At one speed thanks to detail moved by the number 10 car. Snake Doctor 3 repeat. Said. Asterisk move. Glory 0209. Said. But what they did with the single plug and play is good.
I really don't think it has jaggies like that. One thing that I do like about it is there's virtually no aliasing. There's no glittery edges, because to me that's really distracting when you look at the edges of other cars or something like that and you see that shiny glittery edge. The blur that you see isn't really a blur, this reprojection from these games running at 120 frames per second, because the console is inserting artificial frames in between frames, and that's why you have this reprojection that people is perceiving as blur. When you, like right now, going down this straightaway is clear. It's not razor sharp, but it's clear. It's when I get to this corner right here and I make this turn that you see the reprojection that's perceived as blur. But it's something that I'm used to because I've seen it for years on other headsets, and I understand how VR works. It is a very demanding technology, and Polyphony Digital, in their defense, did everything they could with this. So I don't think this is a case of they don't know what they're doing. They did what they could, because for as powerful as the PS5 is, it is still severely limited. I've been trying to tell people for the longest that I consider the PS5 to have the power that's equivalent to, in my opinion, it just got bumped, a 2070.
Glory 0209 said, I picked up day one and I think the recent firmware did improve things.
It did. But the reprojection is not going to go away because it's running at 120 hertz, or 60 times 2. 60 real frames and 60 artificial frames. So for the person who took their PSVR2 back because of the blur, I think you might have reacted a little bit hastily. Now, I'm telling you right now that you can go over to PC and buy a PC and buy a headset. If that PC and that headset is not powerful enough to run a game at a native 90 frames per second, you will see the exact same thing over there. Everything will be clear on the straights, but as soon as you get to the corners, you're going to see that reprojection, ghosting, you know, double image, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so you got a 4090, you got a beast of a PC. That's what I've got. I've got 3 PCs. One has a 4090, the other has a 3080 Ti, and the last one has a 3070 Ti. So I'll say this, if you got rid of your PSVR2 because you bought a 4090, okay, I can understand that. And if you still want to race, if you still want to sim race in VR, my advice to you is to do what I did and pick up an HP Reverb G2 off of eBay, because I got mine for $200 off of eBay, and use the OpenXR.
Once said, at Snake Doctor 313 Trident.
So as I was saying, my advice to you, if you want to sim race in VR, is grab an HP Reverb G2 off of eBay, because the headset is, you know, pretty much on the verge of being discontinued. You know, people are damn near blue lighting these things off of eBay, because the headset originally launched at about $700. And on average, you can find one on eBay with a buy now price tag of between $200 and $300, and you don't have to get caught up in a bidding war to get one. And so, also, use the OpenXR app to help improve performance in visuals. My good friend Ham VR, who's in the chat, has a video.
Glory 0209 said, that is how I found you channel, as I can get Quest 2 to run 90 FPS Project Cars 2, but the games miss that clarity which I think HP has.
Well, it's more than just a headset, because I will tell you, I do want to add a caveat. The HP Reverb G2 has a native resolution of 2160p. When I took a look at ACC through the HP Reverb, everything within the sweet spot was clear, but everything outside of the sweet spot did not look good, even at a native 2160p. So what I ended up having to do was, my good friend Ham VR put up a video of how to use the OpenXR app, and because of that, I was able to super sample my resolution up to 3100p. The turbo feature allows me to run ACC at VR Epic settings and maintain 90 frames per second, and it is ultra sharp and it runs ultra smooth. I mean, it's like a dream come true. I mean, and ACC is a serious sim racing title. So I really feel like I'm competing in a real race against the top drivers in the world. Whereas this is entertainment. The game looks good, but the nature of this game with people playing bumper cars makes it hard for me to feel competitive on this title. So when I jump on here, I'm not being competitive. I'm just having fun. When I jump on ACC, I'm being serious. But yeah, if you got rid of your PSVR for $40.90, totally understand. That's, you know, but if you had a PSVR 2 and you got rid of it and you don't have a PC, that's where I would say you might have acted a little bit hastily. But yeah, I would absolutely recommend, because like the Quest 2.
Gory Glory 0209 said, "Damn. I need to check Han VR. I have seen some of his videos."
Go through his library and look for the video that explains how to use the OpenXR app. That is, you know, along with the 4090 that you have, you will be able to play ACC, Automobile Institute, any sim racing game with unbelievable clarity that PSVR 2 can't even hold a candle to. Now, one of the knocks on the G2 is the small sweet spot. And that was the case when I first got it, because when I first got the G2, I had a 3080 Ti, if I'm not mistaken. And then once I bought that 4090 and got everything all set up there, it was just, the clarity was just unbelievable. The picture was so razor sharp. No aliasing, none of that bullshit. You know, with the Quest 2, there's going to be aliasing. You know, you could use all this anti-aliasing shit, but I think what it boils down to, I think the higher the resolution, the less aliasing you'll have to begin with. So again, if you've got a 4090 and you want to sim race in VR, my recommendation to you is to pick up a HP Reverb G2 off of eBay. Again, you can find one for, in my opinion, anywhere between $200 and $300. And to me, that offsets the $550 that the PSVR 2 costs. So
Gory Glory 0209 said, "Thanks. I got to find a HP then. I did pre-order it from HP couple months back, but the lead time was showing as 4 months.
I'd cancel it. I would cancel that order unless you absolutely dead set on having a new headset. Now, I do want to caution you about buying headsets off of eBay, you know, buying them secondhand, is that sometimes there might be something wrong with the headset that they're not telling you about. In the case of my G2, for whatever reason, the left controller seems to be using the batteries up a little bit faster than the right controller. But that's not a big deal to me, because the one thing about, here's a G2 controller right here. For games where you are required to use your hands a lot, the G2, the tracking is good as long as the headset can see the controller. Once that controller moves out of the view of the cameras, that's when wonky shit starts to happen. So if you just want to sim race, the G2 is a perfect headset. So even if you have controllers that might be acting a little bit funky, that wouldn't be a big deal to me, because you're using the headset for sim racing anyway. But if you want to use the headset for other shit like first person shooters and that kind of stuff, I would end up probably recommending the Quest 2, as the tracking is going to be a little bit better. But for sim racing, you got a 4090, G2 all the way. That's going to get you the clearest picture possible for the cheapest possible price by buying it off of eBay. Let me see if my TV turned off yet.
GoryGlory0209 said, "Super, thank you. Finally someone gave me a direction. I just could get an honest review from anyone."
Boy.
GoryGlory0209 said, "Amazon have some used ones. There were new ones too, but I got late yesterday from work and could not order, and now they are out of stock." GoryGlory0209 said, "For other shit I can use Quest 2. I got Pistol Whip etc. on it to play."
Yeah, actually, you know, the Quest 2 is good for that kind of stuff. But I'd say for sim racing, go with a G2. As a matter of fact, I'm going to check eBay real quick before I get into the next race, and see what the G2s are going for. Grab my keyboard. G2, HP, Reverb, G2 version 2. Let's see what we got here. So we've got one.
Swags 412 said, "WHST up."
What's up, Jay Wags, my guy? You got to come on the show, man. Let's see here. Here's a Reverb G2, but that's without the controllers. Here's another one for parts. So some of these prices.
GoryGlory0209 said, "Does it matter if it has to be G2 V2?
I think the version 2 is going to have a little bit better tracking, because that's one of the reasons why they called it G2, because the original Reverb, the clarity."
Swags 412 said, "For sure." Ham VR said, "I don't think it's a question of honesty. Everyone sees things different in VR. The FOV can be different depending on face shape, some people are more sensitive the sweet spot size and resolution etc." Swags 412 said, "You played Switchback yet?"
No, I have not played Switchback in wow, like I give you credit, J Wags, in your review of Switchback. I've seen other VR reviews of Switchback, and I think that they were trying to be a little bit professional in their review of Switchback, probably because, you know, they like the developers. I think they like Supermassive, and see, I think the situation with Supermassive is, you know, I think they were getting funding from Sony, you know, with Until Dawn, Rush of Blood, The Inpatient, Bravo Team.
Jason L said, "I got my G2 in 2020 on sale for €400 and I don't understand why people say it's a bad headset. The tracking is not as bad as people say. I've got Q2 PSVR and PSVR2 and had a index. All have pros and cons."
Right, and I totally agree.
Said, "The Reverb G2 V2 has an updated cable and come with 2 face gaskets, a slimmer one, so get the V2 if you can."
So yeah, I found like here on eBay, I've just found a
GoryGlory0209 said, "Yeah, Ham VR, but the way Klay said about how to use OpenXR and make it better misses on all those paid reviews."
I think so. I'll put it to you this way. Let's use a Assetto Corsa Competizione as the example, because that's a very poorly optimized headset for VR.
Said, "PSVR2 over Evatithig."
So let me stick with this situation with the G2. So with my 4090 with the G2, I ran ACC on VR Epic settings, and it looked okay, and it ran okay. What the OpenXR app allowed me to do was keep those VR Epic settings and make it run better, and even make the picture sharper. So I highly recommend, especially if you want to play a game like ACC in VR and you've got a 4090, I highly recommend the Reverb G2, and I highly recommend using the OpenXR app, because I'm definitely a person that's a plug and play person. I hate having to do extra work to play something. You do have to go through a couple of steps to use the OpenXR app, but it is definitely worth it. And if you follow Ham's step-by-step video, it's easy. So as far as that goes, Ham, if you're still watching, if you want to be so kind as to put a link to that OpenXR video in the chat so people can check that out, that will help people get a feel for what's going on. But I highly recommend it. And when it comes to these VR reviews, that kind of stuff, the best I can tell you on that one is go with somebody that you trust. Because I could tell you that these guys that's got 500,000 subs, they'll say whatever it takes to get $287 or best offer.
Glory0209 said, well, I got you and Ham VR to follow now.
Yeah.
That will do from now on.
Thank you so much. Me, I only have 1,300 full-time job, and I'm satisfied with the money I make from my full-time job. So as far as like YouTube goes, now since PSVR2 has come out, I have gotten more views, but as far as YouTube goes, I still don't make shit. I probably make $15 a month off of YouTube. And so I'm not going to lie on YouTube to try to get YouTube money to get a couple of hundred extra views, and it only gets me an extra 50 cents or some shit like that. I could not do that. And so the title of this stream being the PSVR2 is my second best headset for sim racing. I'm not lying. Out of all the tests that I've run, this is the second best headset. And if you want something that's going to look better than this, you are going to pay for it. My main computer that has the 4090 in it, I've got over $4,000 into that PC alone. And so my secondary PC, as I was telling you guys, has a 3080 Ti in it, and I have a Quest 2 attached to it. And the PS5 and PSVR2 is trading blows with that PC. It's holding its own against that PC. So in that aspect, I keep saying it, that in my opinion, PSVR2 with the PS5 is worth the money. I think we can hop in another race. And still, but we can still keep chatting because I enjoyed the conversation. So I'm really looking forward to tomorrow's daily race. If we're talking Spa with Group 2 cars, I'm absolutely looking forward to that. Oh, the entry period's over.
Glory0209 said, I heard that Microsoft Flight Sim can use OpenXR Toolkit 2 now.
It can. I've tried it. So what I'll do is I'll go to the VR showroom just so the headset stays in VR mode. Alright, let me take the headset off, put that in, because I do want to take this off for a second. Okay, there we go. I actually want to take this headset off so I can chat with you guys for a little bit. Because like I said, you know, I'm just more or less just jumping on just to chat with you guys a little bit, give my thoughts on the various headsets on my
Glory0209 said, I had a 3060 Ti which went to nephew and then I wanted to get a decent rig to run sim. I already have one 3700K build, so all I wanted was a 4090 after PSVR2.
$13,700K. I can't really speak on that. I would search up.
Jason L. said, I'm off to watch the football and watch my team Arsenal pick up another 3 points. Beaming face with smiling eyes. Have a good stream made by everyone.
Alright, Jason, appreciate you popping in. So glory. I would do some research on that 13,700K paired up with a 4090 and see what kind of benchmarks people are getting. In my case, I have 4090 Founders Edition paired up with a 12900K, you know, i9 12900K. In the case of that 13700K, it's an i7. I believe it's an i7 13700K. It should be a good CPU, but do your research to make sure, because what I wouldn't want to happen to you is that you go off and buy a 4090 and find out that 13700K is the bottleneck. I'm gonna need a drink here in a minute. So, yeah, I've also bought some GPUs over the years. I think over the years, if you include the 3 computers that I have now, I have had a total of 6 gaming PCs over the years. And then when I bought my Alienware, that's when I started doing the upgrades, because it came with I'll show you guys. When I bought my Alienware, it actually came with this RTX 2070. And then over time, I just upgraded it. You know, I put a 3070 in it. That's a totally different story for another day. But I went through hell to get that 3070 because it was at the height of COVID, and you had scalpers and crypto miners buying everything.
Said, that's a beast processor too. Yet i7 13700K. 4090 is already in the case now.
Oh, so you're already good to go.
Max 412 said, I never played Saints and Sinners, buying that bundle this week.
Well, the Saints and Sinners thing, J-Wags, I have Saints and Sinners
Glory 0209 said, the only other PC I have is a 1070 Ti PC. It's an expensive hobby for sure, lol.
No question about that, J-Wags.
MVR said, every CPU is a bottleneck in ACC. The 13700K is a decent gaming CPU. If I was buying in the next few weeks though, I would go for an AMD 7800X 3D.
And that right there, folks, MVR, you definitely want to check out his videos for recommendations, because him is largely responsible for the PCs that I have. My main PC with the 4090 in it, all of my PCs have names. And my PC that has the 4090 in it is named Voltron. The one with the 3080 Ti is named Voltron Jr. And the one with the 3070 Ti is named Bumblebee.
Said, I got a 5900X.
Definitely go with Ham's recommendations, because so what happened with me I'm going to try to shorten this story, but my Alienware took a dump. I had the 3070 in it that I upgraded. I had an i9 9900K, and long story short, it took a dump because I tried to update the BIOS in it, and I think it killed the PC. So I was going to buy a PC, and Ham said, before you buy anything, send me the specs to anything you're thinking about buying. And so I saw a PC that had a 3080 Ti with an 11900K. Ham said, that's rubbish, don't buy it. And I said, okay, how about we build one? And then I gave him my region location. And so what he did, I said, what I want to do is I want to be able to walk into a store and buy the parts right off the shelf. So Ham looked up, even though he's in the UK, he looked up the Best Buy that's closest to me, and I live in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And he said, this is what they have in stock. Based on what you want to do, these are the parts that I would recommend you buy. So I went out and bought all that stuff, and the only thing that was missing was the 4090. So I had bought the 3080 Ti off of eBay, and I ran with that until I got the 4090. And then once I got the 4090, I ended up upgrading again because I upgraded to a DDR5 motherboard and DDR5 RAM. So I think I've got the G.Skill with I think 6,000 or 6,400 hertz. But you have to overclock it to get it that high. But out of the box, it runs at about 4,900 hertz. Whereas when I had a DDR4 motherboard, I had 64 gigs of RAM at about 3,600 hertz. And the extra RAM that I bought was a waste because, you know, my PC never used up more than 30. I think at the most it probably used up like maybe 20 gigs of the DDR4 at any given time. So the extra RAM was a waste of money. And in fact, I've got extra RAM laying around. So here's the Corsair's Vengeance Pros. This was part of the 64 gigs that I had in Voltron. Now 32 of that I put in Voltron Jr. And then the other 2 gigs, 32 gigs, I have right here. And then I also have that I believe is 16 gigs of the Vengeance. This is DDR4 also. This was in Bumblebee. But I went and bought some more DDR4 RAM because I wanted the pretty lights. I wanted the pretty RGB lights. So yeah, I've got 32 gigs of DDR4 RAM laying around that I'm not doing anything with, and I've got another 16 gigs of DDR4 RAM.
0209 said 4090 is an awesome card. I would says one of the best upgrades I did. Yeah, once you go 4 channels then speed drops.
Yep.
With DDR5 you can go hot.
You know, I got so much shit laying around. I still got hold on, let me grab it. I still got my DDR4 motherboard. Hold on.
Glory 0209 said, damn, so many sticks.
And then this right here is my motherboard that I still have laying around. This is my motherboard that I bought when I bought the i9 12900K. And so once I upgraded to a DDR5 motherboard, and it's the same kind of motherboard. It's an MSI motherboard, except that it's a DDR5 motherboard. So yeah, this was the motherboard that I bought, DDR4 motherboard, when I put the i9-12900K. Another motherboard that another part that I just got laying around that's not doing anything. So yeah, I got all kinds of shit laying around that I'm not using. You know, I showed you guys the 2070 right here that came with the Alienware.
Glory0209 said, sorry to sidetrack of the race. I just saw your video and then you were live. Was my lucky day.
No problem. Like, I enjoy talking to the audience. And that's one of the things that I like about my channel not being so big, because I can manage the chat. I can pretty much respond to just about anybody who comments, assuming that I see the comment or I hear the comment. And so in most cases, unless people are like trolling, you know, I ignore trolls, but for the most part, I answer just about everybody. What else do I got laying around here? So I got all kinds of electronic shit laying around here. I could open up a damn pawn shop.
Glory0209 said, do you think there is a difference going from DDR4 to DDR5?
Absolutely.
As I have a Z270 board too, but with DDR4. Glory0209 said, sorry Z790.
I'll tell you this, it is a difference. It may not sound like it, but there is definitely a difference between DDR4 and DDR5. So I'll put it to you this way. Long story short, when I upgraded from DDR4 to DDR5, like ACC for instance, I was able to get 15 more frames per second. So I went from, to give you a number, I went from, matter of fact, the DDR5 is what put me over, because when I was running DDR4 using the HP Reverb G2 on ACC, I was getting like 85 to 90 frames per second on the straights. But as soon as I went around corners, it dropped to like 75 frames. Once I went with the DDR5, that made the difference. I was able to maintain pretty much 90 frames per second at all times. So yes, DDR5 makes a difference. I would definitely upgrade to DDR5. Yes, it's going to cost, because you have to upgrade. You got to get a DDR5 motherboard, and you got to upgrade the DDR5 RAM. When all is said and done, that's going to end up costing you, you know, between $300 to $500, in my opinion, depending on what brands you go with. Because I think as far as the DDR5 RAM goes, the G.Skill that I went with, I think that was about $180. But I think that was worth it. The motherboard, the MSI motherboard, that was about I think it was about $160 for the DDR5. So yeah, I think that's. So
Glory0209 said, shit, I am going to have divorce if I get a board and DDR5 memory too.
Hey, I'm just being as honest as I could about the upgrades, and I'm single, so there's nothing stopping me from making any upgrades. Whatever I want, I get. And now, I will say that, you know, I work a blue-collar job. I work in a factory. But I will say that if I want something bad enough, I'll find a way to get it. I just may not be able to get it day one. But if I want something bad enough, I will get it. And you know, I've said this so many times, and it's cliche-ish, but, you know, VR has made my dreams come true. And
Glory0209 said, you did 64 gig, or 32 gig is what I roll now.
If you, in my opinion, I think 64, I'm finding that out the hard way now. I think unless you're doing like a lot of video editing or some shit like that, Ham would be a better person to talk to. But I think unless you're doing like a lot of video editing and shit like that, the extra 32 gigs is a waste. Because whenever I would check like the analytics.
MVR said, ACC is particularly about RAM speed. Hardware Unboxed has done a good DDR5 v DDR4 review. Some games it makes no difference.
And that's the man you want to listen to. But yeah, the RAM speed for ACC, it definitely made a difference. So yeah, it gave me about an extra 15 frames per second, and that was enough to put me over the top to maintain 90 frames whenever I play any sim racing games in VR. I don't know, should we jump into another race? How long have I been live now? Hour and 40 minutes, not as long as I thought I was. But I'd probably say when it comes to VR,
Virtual Dreamer said, I hope the rumors of an upcoming PS5 Pro are true and we have then a real native 120 FPS mode and a sharper picture.
Well, in my opinion, I don't like a PS5 Pro. I don't think it's going to be able to do 120 frames native. I do think
Glory 0209 said, I play lot of Cyberpunk, yet to test it on 4090.
Well,
MVR said, GT7 garage stream beaming face with smiling eyes. Glory 0209 said, okay, so I have a list now to shop.
Yeah, if you already have the 4090, you know, and it sounds like Ham's saying that the 13700K that you have is a good enough CPU, but I would if you're gonna play like ACC in VR, then yes, I would definitely recommend upgrading to DDR5. But as Ham was saying, that some games it's not going to make a difference, and I think the reason why he says that is when you have a game that's GPU bound or GPU heavy, and the game relies a lot on the GPU, then I don't know, then the DDR5 might not come that much into play. So I don't know if I'm saying that right.
0209 said, so HP G2 board and DDR5 then.
I definitely recommend those for sim racing, especially if you want to play ACC in VR. I 100% recommend all of that. So, like I said, you see my Reverb G2 right here, and I'd use that for ACC. But I think a game like on PC, like Automobile Listed 2 and stuff like that, I guess, you know, you wouldn't really have to upgrade to DDR5 if you don't want to, because it was already running great when I had the DDR4 motherboard. Automobile Listed 2 is a well optimized game. It'll run good on just about any PC. But ACC, yeah, if you want to play ACC in VR, I 100% recommend those upgrades. But for like Automobile Listed 2, I don't know. I think I guess you can stick with what you got if you want to. So in Virtual Dreamer, coming back to what you were saying about the PS5 Pro, I don't think a PS5 Pro, like using GT7 for instance, I do not think it would be able to run GT7 on PSVR2 a native 120 frames per second, because that will tax the shit out of hardware. A lot of high-end PCs wouldn't even be able to do it. I do think, however, that a PS5 Pro would be able to run GT7 a native 90 frames per second, which in my opinion that's all you need, because 90 frames to me is the cutoff. If you're playing a sim racing game, as I was saying before, when you...
Glory0209 said, I tried AMS2 but I don't know. It lacks content. I like F122 and ACC and Project Cars too.
Okay, understandable. I don't play Automobilist 2 that much because it doesn't really seem to have like daily races. It doesn't seem to have like daily races of GT7, or they haven't implemented a low fuel motorsports type of platform. But yeah, Virtual Dreamer, to put a bow on that, going down straights, your frame rate can be as low as 40 frames per second going down the straights. But once you make a turn and you go around the corner, that's when you need 90 frames per second, because if you don't have 90 frames per second native, you're going to get choppy frames, or in the case of GT7, you're going to have that reprojection and you're going to see what looks like two images, a ghost trail, whatever you want to call it. And that's not going to go away unless the game runs natively at least 90 frames per second. And I think right now the PS5 is not capable of running GT7 at 90 frames per second native on PSVR2. However, I do think a PS5 Pro would be able to do it, depending on how powerful they were willing to make it. So, that being said, I originally said that I would not buy a PS5 Pro, but now I'm willing to wait and see what the final verdict is. So if a PS5 Pro came out and it was able to run GT7 at a native 90 frames per second, and that would make all the ghosting and shit like that disappear, then go away, then yeah, I would buy it. But at the moment, if you put one in front of me right now and they say that it still runs at the same 120 frames per second through reprojection, no, I wouldn't buy it. So I think we can go ahead and see about jumping into another race and just chat as we go. Tell you one thing, I never get tired of looking at this VR showroom. It's incredible. This car looks so real. The one thing that looking at this VR showroom is, this car is so low to the ground and it doesn't look like a very long car, so it leads me to believe that this car was not built for a tall person. So yeah, sitting inside this car, it doesn't look like it was built for a tall person. Oh, I got another ticket. Let's redeem it.
Garnet Slick, thanks for following.
Hey, appreciate it. I didn't hear the chime. I didn't hear the notification for the sub, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much. One of the unfortunate things about PSVR2 is that the chat does not display inside the headset like the previous PSVR one did. Therefore, I had to get a capture card and run everything through that and use speech chat so I can hear who's saying what. But I didn't hear the chime for the sub. But once again, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
GoryGlory0209 said, "The showroom in GT7 is just amazing."
It is. Alright, we can enter this race. We can jump into this race. So, I do want to caution
Garnet Slick said, "Great video bro, thumbs up, light skin tone, okay, hand clapping hands, medium dark skin tone."
Appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it. The one thing that I want to warn everybody about is that GT7 has a lot of tracks that I don't have a terrible amount of experience on. Thank you for the follow. I don't know if it's just now getting around to letting me know the Garnet subbed, but if that's a new sub, thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate it. So what I was going to say was that tracks that I don't have a terrible amount of experience with, you're not going to see me do very well. The week that PSVR2 launches, because I race in VR, it's the only way I can race. It's more immersive, and I think I'm faster in VR versus that argument that's going around that people are slower in VR. I think I'm faster in VR. Case in point, ACC on PS5 versus my lap times on ACC on PC in VR. I'm about 4 seconds faster on PC VR on ACC than I am on PS5 flat screen. And what I was going to say was the week that PSVR2 launched on GT7, I won 4 races in 1 week, back to back. I won back-to-back races, and then a couple of days later, I won back-to-back races. Now, this track right here, I have not had a terrible amount of experience with this track. I mean, I think the last time that I messed around with this track in depth was on GT Sport, and that was flat screen before PSVR 2 came along. Because once the original PSVR, once PSVR came along on GT Sport, I only raced on the tracks that I liked and the tracks that I knew very well. And so because of that, I don't have a terrible amount of experience with this particular track. Not only that, I'm not sure if we're running this track in the reverse order or not. Yeah, this track right here,
GoryGlory0209 said, "I beat lap times in VR2 but not otherwise."
Yeah, I'm absolutely faster in VR. And again, this track, I'm not terribly experienced. And then that's the other thing about GT7 is they will run these tracks in with a reverse course. this lap up already. I'm not going to get a chance to do another. Trying to pick up extra time. Yeah, VR is the only way to race. I think anyone who's passionate about sim racing should want to try it in VR at least once. Looks like I qualified dead last. Let's go, let's go, let's go. But I promise you, tomorrow, tune in, because I think someone in the chat said that tomorrow's daily race is going to be for, I think for the Group B race is going to be at Spa for the GT2 or Group 2 cars. And I absolutely, you know what, after this race, we're going to practice. We're going to practice for tomorrow's daily race. So after this race, we'll change cars.
said, hey Link, wanna do a practice run at Spa?
Yeah. I didn't mean to bump him, so in truth, I'll give him his spot back. I could have kept going, but in true sportsmanship, I gave his spot back. I just don't dig that bumper car shit. Nice bump there, and he got hit with a 4-second penalty. That's why you don't do that dumb shit. When the penalty system works like it's supposed to, it's beautiful.
Once said, VR allows you to run close to competitors and not take them out.
I'll take it, considering I started at the back of the pack. I could have finished higher, but when I bumped that guy in front of me, I gave him his spot back. I don't race like that. I can't. Because he didn't do anything to me. Now, if he would have been somebody that was bumping me all over the place, and I would have accidentally bumped him back, then yeah, I would have kept going. But I gave him his spot back. I think it was the gentleman thing to do. One speed. As far as joining me in a session, I am going with the Group 2 cars on Spa, and so please join me with a Group 2 car, and it has to be, you know, whatever the stock setting is of the car. So I'm not gonna do a race where people throwing on extra turbochargers and all kinds of other stuff, a bunch of aftermarket parts, you know, boosting the player points of the car way up to like 1,000. So let me go into the garage and change cars. I had been meaning to get the Acura, but you know what? I still might go get it. Because the only Group 2 car that I have right now would be this Lexus. You know what?
Flags 412 said, I Clay, what you think of? Chwags 412 said, that Aces of Thunder.
I'm looking forward to that. Now, on PC you have War Thunder.
One Speed said, cool, look out for Motorsports.
So, coming back to you, J-Wags, you have War Thunder on PC. I have the game, but I never really dived too deep into it. And somebody asked me that before about War Thunder possibly coming to PSVR2, and I was saying that on PC the game is free to play. It's the microtransactions, you know, well, not the DLC, but the different planes you can buy.
0209 said, was good sportsmanship.
Thank you. Let's go ahead and pick this car up. Because I have this car as well as the Lexus on GT Sport. Let's go ahead, jump in this car. So, let me see here. One Speed, are you friends with me on PSN? Because I'll do a quick race. And I keep trying to. I promise, J Wags. Let me finish answering your question. So what I was saying, War Thunder is on PC. It's free. You know, they get their money from plane purchases, people buying planes and stuff like that. And somebody asked me about the game possibly coming to PSVR2 a while back, and I said the problem with that is that Sony's probably going to want them to charge something for the game. They probably are not going to want that game to be free to play. But if they want that game to be crossplay with PC, it would probably have to be free to play. I don't know, because that'd be the only fair way to do it. So I think in order to make money for themselves and to please Sony, I think they basically made a PSVR2 version of the game and called it Aces of Thunder versus the War Thunder that's on PC. The game looks pretty damn good. It's multiplayer. It's PvP, and I think it might be co-op. So the PvP alone makes it worth the purchase to me, because right now, as far as I'm concerned, there's not too many flight games.
Schwags 412 said, it's in the PS Store right now to wishlist.
I'm gonna get it.
Said, I dropped you a request. One Speed said, Beat Motorsports.
Okay. Let me do this practice race real quick. It's only 2 laps, and then I'll come back and accept your request. And then we can do a race, do a practice race. Oh, this car is lovely on PSVR2, because the car was actually kind of blurry on the original PSVR. The force feedback is stiff on this car, much stiffer than the GT3 Acura I was driving. Oh, beautiful. Oh, you know what? So let me go back and put some soft tires on this car. really wanted to support the developers. That was fun. These GT2 cars are superior machines. So let me go back and buy some soft tires. Let me come back and accept your friend request. That was fun. The steering felt a little stiff.
412 said, "Def hold off."
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Schwags 412 said, "Until they release a patch, if they ever do, but..."
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's go with some sauce.
Schwags 412 said, "I booted the game up and was mad as hell."
I had been hearing that the game was blurry, J-Wags, but other VR content creators that reviewed the game, I think they were trying to be a little more professional and try not to be so harsh on the developers, because in one aspect, they're being thankful, because Sony, I don't think Sony was very happy with Supermassive Games, because I think they funded, Bravo Team, Until Dawn, Rush of Blood, and The Impatient, and I think they were done with them after that. And people were asking for Rush of Blood 2, but I think Sony owns that property, so they had to come up with a different name in order for this to be Rush of Blood Part 2, and here we have Switchback. Now, one of the people are speculating that one of the reasons why the game is so blurry is they think the game might have been in development for PSVR 1, and then they basically switched gears in the middle of development and finished it for PSVR 2, and therefore you have the blurriness and all this kind of shit. And the one thing about VR is if you release a game fucked up and broken, that's it. You're done. You can't come back, 2 months later on Steam saying this game is patched and this and that and that and this new patch covers this new patch covers that kind of shit, because only a handful of people are going to come back and take a look at the game. If the game was already good to begin with and it was just a couple of minor bugs or something like that, and then you come back with a patch and say we fixed this, we fixed that, then yeah, you're still going to maintain your user base. But VR is definitely one of those games where you hardly ever get a second chance to make a first impression. So if you release a game fucked up in VR, and then you already fighting an uphill battle with VR being niche and everybody under the sun trying to find every way to tear VR down, the last thing you need is to release a fucked up game. So it probably should not have done that. Let me see here. Let me grab the controller so I can go look for notifications. Let's see here. Wants to be your friend view all requests. You said B. Who am I looking for? Okay, gotta accept Kwaski because I know him.
One Speed said, "Beat Motorsports."
B Motorsports? No, you're not showing up on here. And if you guys are seeing the same thing that I'm saying, you sure you sent the friend request to the right person? So, search for players. Yeah, I'm not seeing a B Motorsports or V Motorsports one speed. I'm not seeing it. You know, I'm going through my friends' requests and I don't see it. So that I have to ask once again if you got my name correct to send me a friend request. And it shows when they sent these friend requests, and this is the most recent. Oh boy. I see a B Motorsports right here, but they don't have PlayStation Plus, so they might not be able to race online. So yeah, one speed. Hold on, let me check the chat real quick. BT Motorsports, okay.
Jwags 412 said, worst blur I've ever seen. I thought I was trying to readjust my headset thinking I had it wrong. It just looks that bad, like your lenses are fogged. One speed said, BT. Gory Glory 0209 said, true that. One speed said, I saw your pic in the profile, I will send again. One speed said, I have to reboot 30 SEC.
BT Motorsports. BT Motorsports. I don't. Oh. Okay. Yeah, I mean, whoops. Let me go back. Yeah, see, these three motorsports that I'm looking at right here don't come out exactly the way you spell it in the chat. Alright, let's do another race while you get that sorted out. Because that was definitely fun. So, I've got an issue here with my TV. For whatever reason, it shuts off after such a time. And then once it shuts off, the speech chat, not all the comments come through. So I have to periodically check. I don't know if that's you, One Speed, but I'll check that friend request right there. It says Black Tunda. That's you, Black Tunda. No wonder I, It is.
The interior looks amazing.
The interior.
Request sent.
Okay.
Corey 0209. Said, did the stream stop?
No, the stream didn't stop. So if you're not seeing something, then definitely let me know so I can look into it. So One Speed, you said your name is BP Motorsports, but the only I saw something that said Black Tunda, so I'm trying to find out if that's you or not. So yeah, if this is you right here, Black Tunda, that's where the disconnect comes in, because that's not BP Motorsports or BT.
One Speed said, seems so. Sad face.
That's weird. So yeah, so I guess I'm trying to ask, is that you right there, Black Tunda? Because I saw the notification, but I'm trying to make sure that's you. So to my knowledge, no. The stream did not stop. Let me come back to YouTube, make sure it's still active.
One Speed said, yes.
Okay, all right then. Just a second. Now I'll accept it. Yeah, we're still live. And my good friend
said, that's me.
Okay, so my good friend Ham just posted a video. He's comparing ACC to PSVR2 in the cockpit, and he's on a using the 4090 on the Reverb G2. In fact, let me put this in the chat. Let me put a link to this in the chat. Absolutely,
Gory Glory 0209 said, now it's back.
I don't know why it got lost in the first place, but my apologies.
Lincoln Clay said, https://www.youtube.com/watch?b=ux1b7fgu.
Check it out. Basically, that's him making the video version of what I've been talking about this whole stream, because I just don't have the patience to make a video. But he's just uploaded a video comparing GT7 in the cockpit to ACC in the cockpit on his 4090. So, and from what I'm seeing in his video, oh, he stuck the camera through he put a camera in the lens though. So he's not actually wearing a headset to my knowledge. He stuck a camera in the lens, and PSVR is holding its own. So, Race Lab tried to charge my credit card. That was, that was a waste of money. Anyway, let me accept your friend request here. So if you are on, if you're still on, one speed, I'll set up a private session where only friends can join. So I'll do a couple of more races, and then I gotta get ready because I'm going to be a guest on JTech's PlayStation Nation as I talk about Microsoft snitching out Google, Apple, and who else did they snitch out? Whoops, that's not what we want. So let's create a room. Checking network connection. Here we go. Let's create a room. Race for fun. Let's see here. Free run drift. We'll race for fun. Track. Let's go with Spa. We can go with 5 laps. This is friends only. Practice race, practice race. Equal conditions mode. Grid order, fastest, BO. Yeah, BOP is in effect. So if you've got any kind of extra shit you put on your car, you'll have to remove them. And enter a room of one or more characters. Okay, so simply look for the name Lincoln Klay, and this room is only open to friends only, so you'll be able to get in here. One speed if you're still watching.
One speed. Said. Yes, I'm in.
Alright, cool. Alright, I'll give you a few laps to practice.
I seen a video where somebody took Yaw2 to work on PS5.
Yeah, you could be talking about my friends Rendered Reality. They have the Yaw2 motion simulator and they've been playing GT7 on it. Because as far as people that I'm friends with, they're the only ones that I know of that have the Yaw motion simulator. I want to get one, but there's two problems with me getting the Yaw motion simulator. One is my apartment is too small. The other problem is the wheelbase that I'm using is 20 newton meters of torque. It will basically shake the shit out of the deck plate on the Yaw. The handling on this car don't seem fair. Speed, you still with me? Because if so, just so we can hear each other, join my Discord. This link is in the description. Join my Discord and come into the general chat, the general one. Okay, folks, give me a second. I'm going to jump into my Discord. Okay, give me a second, folks. Okay, good, we're good there.
One speed said, next time link for Discord, I haven't set it up.
Okay. Alright then, let's go ahead and start the race then. I actually got to clean my glasses real quick. And then we can start the race.
One speed said, I can listen in on the tube.
Alright, cool. We can go with that. Let me clean my glasses real quick and then we can start the race. Excuse me.
Kwaski said, you're in the group too? Is this a multiplayer race? Cause I'm down for that. Alfonso Carter said, what's up Lincoln Clay?
What's up Alfonso? And yes, Kwaski, this is a group 2 race on Spa, and I set it to friends only. I have requested your friend request, so if you want to jump into the race you can. So yeah, go ahead and get set up and look for a race that says, and click the friends only box and you'll be able to get in. So I'll wait a few minutes before I start the race to give you a minute to jump in. So, but in the meantime, I'll practice a little bit more.
Kwaski said, thanks brother. J-Dog said, what up Lincoln?
J-Dog, what's good? One speed, we're going to give Kwaski a few minutes to hop in with us. Oof! I guess I could take a minute to... Oops.
Expensive. Said, gotta go pay.
Alright.
Said, it may take me about 15 to 20 minutes to jump in, so don't hesitate to start it up and I will catch up next race.
Okay. Alright, one speed, let's go. Alright, let's see what you got, one speed. Oh, he's using the Ray Brick too. Alright, let's see what you got.
One speed said, cool.
You in VR, one speed?
Alfonso Carter said, what's your PSL so I can get you later after I get off work, maybe we can get racing later.
Okay. Lincoln,
Clay 670.
driving 1 speed? We can do one more time if you got it in you.
One speed. Said. Cool running link. I'm flat current for now. One speed. Said. Fun race.
Yeah, it was. Let's do it one more time, and then I gotta grab a bite to eat.
One speed. Said. Please let's. One speed. Said. Go.
Oh, wait a minute. Kwaski just jumped in. We gotta give him a second to get a couple laps in. Oh, he's coming in with a white one. All right. Yeah, we gotta let Kwaski get a couple laps in.
Said. Flat screen, no VR2 yet.
Oh, gotcha. Once you go VR, you're not gonna go back. No disrespect, One Speed, but we got Kwaski in here now, and so I gotta go all out.
Alfonso Carter said, "That's."
One more lap, and then I'll start the race. Hot laps, if that's what you're asking me, not too much. I just don't have time to like practice like that.
All right, let's start the race. Let's go. Let's go. All right, this is the grand finale. So I gotta grab a bite to eat and then get ready to join J-Tech. Let's go. See you back there, Kowalski. Oh, Kwaski! What happened?
That little twitch killed me. Wasky, what happened? Yeah, I do Pavlov. Yeah, I do Pavlov on both PC and PSVR2, but I think the better experience right now is on PSVR2 because of the haptics. And then not only that, I'm seeing two different types of crowds on PC and PSVR2. On PC, you've got the mods, and people upload all kinds of different maps from other games and created maps and stuff like that. So a lot of people are messing around on those modded maps on PC.
Klosky said, "Amen. Lost it coming out of turn 1. 1 speed." Said, "Great race gents, I wad the turd in third."
Oh, cool.
Alfonso Carter said, "Cool smiling face with sunglasses." Ham VR said, "T-mine you a 1 hour to the F1 race start."
Gotcha.
Kwasky said, "Good run. 1 speed." Said, "Congrats."
Hey, thanks. That was a lot of fun. So I think I'm gonna have to end it there because I am powerful hungry. And then sit down, watch a little bit of the F1 race, and then at 2 p.m. Eastern time I will be joining J-Tech on PlayStation Nation. So check out J-Tech TV, where I'll be a guest on there, and we will discuss the latest circus act
Kwasky
with the
said, "Fun as always."
Definitely. And as far as today goes, I'm not sure if I'll be back. If I do come back, I could possibly come back with some Pavlov today. The other option is I could possibly come back with a low fuel motorsports race today on Twitch. So check the description. Link to my Twitch channel is in the description. We get a new low fuel motorsports daily race every Sunday at 6:15 p.m. Eastern time. And so if it's a track that I like, I'll do a low fuel motorsports race over there on Twitch. If it's not a track that I like, then I'll come back to that on Tuesday. But as far as here again, so that's what it boils down to today. If I do another stream today, if I do it here on YouTube, it'll probably be Pavlov or again a low fuel motorsports race over on Twitch. Make sure you're following or sub to both channels so you can stay notified. And with that, I'm going to boogie on out of here. Thank you so much. This was a lot of fun. I really appreciate it. And we will see you on the next one. Until then, get my headset back on.
One speed said, "Link me on Twitch, Beat Motorsports." Kwasky said, "Peace."
Alright, appreciate it. We'll see you all soon. Until then, you all know the line. Wakanda forever. Long live the king. And deuces. Have a good one, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.
Ham VR said, "In a bit at Lincoln Klay VR." One speed said, "Peace out."
Alright, everybody. Have a good one.
Alfonso Carter said, "Later, bro."